I love that
Sekou.
intro.
How you doing, buddy?
Rocking and rolling, moving with the Morenos.
That's right. That's what we do.
I'm rocking and rolling, man. I'm having a good time, man. It's a balmy 60 degrees here in the Northeast. I feel like I'm in California.
That sounds hot.
It's hot, man. It's actually, and the weather gods forgive me, it's actually uncomfortably hot for the winter, right? So we've all got all these winter, in Christmas and holidays, you get all this winter gear. And we haven't been able to wear any of it, man.
Yeah, because usually it's snowing, right? Wherever
it's
you're
usually snowing. It's usually a hot. I mean, it's usually a cold, sloppy mess over here, man. Slush, and it's the sun was out. I had to wear my sunglasses today, man.
Crazy. My mother-in-law lives in Montana, just above Helena. How cold was it?
With wind chill, it was negative 60.
Negative 60 with wind chill. Did you hear?
60.
60.
Oh my goodness, man! Yeah. That sounds like one of those movies, man, where they're like, at an Arctic substation,
Yeah, it's kind of what it is up there, And so she calls us, and we're like just complaining because it was 52 degrees outside or whatever. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so cold out, Rashawn. I can't believe I had to wear a sweater earlier. You guys need to shut up now.
Meanwhile, she's got like the sealskin gloves on and the park.
The hat with ears on it and stuff.
Well, I mean, look, man, we're quite fortunate, man. I am. These last few years of being cloud-based has really spoiled me.
Yeah.
Like really, I mean, like really, really spoiled me. People are like, oh, well, when are you going to come out and, see the property? I'm like, come out and see the property? Like, why would I do that? But we had a cold snap here about maybe a little bit more than a week ago, and it dropped below 30. It dropped, actually, I think it was something like 3 below 0. It wasn't as bad as Montana, okay?
Yeah, right.
But because it was so warm earlier, we didn't prep the way we're supposed to and let the pipes bleed and things like that. And so all up and down my block, everybody's got the emergency services outside because it's just flooding from inside out.
Yeah.
It's a good reason to renovate in the winter. How about that?
Right. I remember here in Yuba City, where we're at, back in, I think it was 2013, I was the director of security at our mall, and it snowed. And everybody was losing their minds. They all raced towards the entrances like they'd never seen this happen before. And I was like, you've never driven up to the mountains? Like, we're an hour and a half away from snow at any point in time. Like, and everybody, they just lost it. I couldn't believe it,
I have a 56-year-old sister who lives in Los Angeles, California.
Right.
And she's visited New York several times, and this and that. She was a little pissed that this year, New Year's, it was just rain. All it did was rain.
Oh.
She's not had a white Christmas. She hasn't had a snowy New Year or anything like that. And I was like,
in LA.
I was like, you visited the wrong year.
Yeah.
There was a few years ago, there was a blizzard on Halloween.
Right.
And I mean, like, blanketed the whole world with snow as far as we were concerned. And you never know up here anymore, man. And so the old adage, you dress for the season, not for the weather. Yeah, that's gone, man. Dress for the day.
Yeah, right. Just hope for the best.
I got on short sleeves today, man.
Right. It's crazy.
Dude, man, it's been a while.
What's that?
It's been a while since we kicked it, man. This is like family reunion, man.
I know. I usually see you on somebody's Zoom or something that I've been invited to, and on with Nick or something,
Yeah, man. Nick is my hero, man. Did you see him doing his flower girl routine?
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. It was. Oh, that's just Nick, though. I mean,
that's Nick, man. He's one of the best guys I know, man. He helped me to understand that, so we run a big business and we have a lot of agents that we're talking to all the time.
Yeah.
I make it a point to, at least 50 of the contacts that I make a day are agent to agent contacts.
Yeah.
And he's helped to relieve a lot of the pressure on me, man. I only work with the agents that are swimming towards my boat.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to work with anybody else,
That's
you just
man.
invite until
that's it.
Dude,
I made it to, we have well, you're a honey badger, man. I'm using Rapid Funnel and
yeah.
I was at like the 86th rank in the annual thing. And I started kicking up I started using the Rapid Funnel, and I was up at number 11.
I know, I saw it.
I
made it up to 37, I think, or 32. I was like, yes. And,
you and I, we're gonna be purposeful this year, man.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was watching a live, I think it was with Michael Reese or it was with Jay Kinder, and they're talking about like people, like motivating people, and people love leaderboards. And I was like, no, I'm not a competition. I'm not a competitive person. The second you put my name on a leaderboard, I'm like, get out of the way. I got to get this thing done. It just instantly turns me on and makes me start, getting stuff done and just doing so. I'm like, wow, it does work. Like,
it does work. I this year, my partner and I, we started a new team, and modern agent team. And it is funny that he and I, so he's been in business 30, 35, 40 years.
Okay.
And the Dave Finale, and I've been in it 25 years or so.
Right.
And he and I are competing with each other to see how many agent contacts we can make and
right.
The conversion. And I told him, I was like, do we have a leaderboard somewhere that I don't know about? Like, are you like the needle somewhere that I don't know about? He was like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. That'd be a real short leaderboard, just the two of you.
That's all right, man. The neck to neck. We in attracting agents to our brand now, what we're doing is we're only looking for the black belt mentality, right? Like, we're looking for agents that are not just going to the gym to lose weight, baby. They're going to the gym to do like an ultra marathon or something.
Yeah,
like
right. So, are you still in production at all, or are you just recruiting?
I did 62 transactions this year.
Let's go.
Virtually, right? So I did most of my transactions were virtual transactions, right? Okay. And so the first time they saw it was in the final walkthrough.
Gotcha.
And then I referred over 200 transactions to agents in my sphere. So I don't know. Do you get points for that? Is that production? So
yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, man. And so yes, hell yes, I'm in production. I got 5 kids, man. I don't know if I'll ever not be in production.
Yes. A lot of groceries.
And they eat, man. Woo.
I was talking to Janelle last night, and I asked her, I was like, what's something that you would want to hear from Sekou? And she was like, what'd you say? Like,
how do you, there.
She's right here.
What up, Janelle?
Hey. So we've been working with our agents about reluctancy and not wanting to make the calls and trying to, kind of motivate themselves. And I was like, if I could hear it from Sekou, I want to know, how do you get out of your own head?
Okay.
How do you get out of your own way? And what do you tell your agents? And is it the same thing or is it different?
Well, it's absolutely the same. And I absolutely get in my own way, Janelle. And so there is a trick. This is $1 million trick. So anybody listening, this is $1 million trick. I choose a market as far away from my own as possible. And I call all the for sale by owners in that market. And I do it in a way that it's designed to see how many no's I can get.
Right.
And I wind up getting a yes, and I refer that business out. But the thing is that the further away from me, the further away from my market, the further away from my center that I go, the less impact it has on my business, the less effect it has on my psyche.
Gotcha.
So the trick is pick up the phone, find a number furthest away from you as possible, and call it with expediency. Hey man, this is Sekou. I'm giving you a call because I see that you are for sale by owner,
Right.
and just script out on them.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, ask the next question. Like it's almost like a Mad Libs. You know what I mean? Like you know. And if you could tell a place where you're going next, you guys are crazy. I am crazy, but where are you going next? Like, you know, and it snaps you out of that sort of serious, you know, ultra serious. I'm like a surgeon, realtor, you know, mindset. But that's what I do, and I teach my agents to do that. And it's funny, by the way, that you asked that question, because I've been coaching teams and the development of teams.
Right.
And the very first thing that I ask the team members to do is to put together their version of the team vision.
Gotcha.
And how does that connect to your contacts and calls?
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I love making calls. I got all in between my ears about it just recently for some reason. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I started calling, you know, my database. I was like, there's almost 1,000 opportunities just sitting right here, just waiting for me to call. Like my system's emailing them, texting them, doing everything except for calling them, because that's my job.
Because that's your job.
And it was really interesting what I learned once I started calling these people. I learned that nobody's educating them on what the market conditions actually are. I had a guy that he thought that interest rates were like 9%. I was like, well, where did you get that information? You know, he's like, oh, I straight up got it online and what I see in the news.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's too bad, you know. Definitely call me anytime you have a question. Call the expert, you know. Let me educate you. Interest rates are 9%, you know, and the market's not as bad as you think it is. And you know, after talking to him for 48 minutes, you know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to refer anybody that I know to you. And when I'm ready to sell, I'm selling through you. And, you know, I've just gone through, and it's like having a conversation to re-educate is way better than having a conversation to ask for business, because that component's there.
Yeah.
But how are you going to train them to know, like, and trust you just off of saying, can I sell your house? No. Used car salesman, click.
Well,
you know?
So what's funny is you mentioned the used car salesman, right? And so here's what's really, really, really been like bugging me. Like the interest rates going up and down and fluctuating, this and that. To me, it just makes the market better, right? Like okay, buy it today, don't wait till tomorrow, you know, like, you know, because it'll go up, right? And so I got a buddy of mine on the phone. He was in my database. I'm doing exactly what you're doing, man. I'm just chewing through my database. I got 190,000 people in this database.
Goodness.
It's only good if I call them, right? It's only good if I contact them. And it's something that you said, man. It's like your CRM is emailing them and texting them, is doing all of the stuff that they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to call them, because I learned that that's my main thing. And you don't outsource your main thing. Right, you are the one that's making those contacts. So anyway, I'm chewing through this list. I'm finding the value in this list, and I get my buddy. My buddy's out in Chicago, and he's like, you know, man, but the interest rates. And I was like, Tone, you drive one of the biggest, baddest trucks in the entire world. I said, what's your interest rate on your truck?
Yeah,
and he's like, I think 9.5%. I was like, you pay 10% interest on your truck?
Yeah.
I was like, what's your interest rate on you? Don't use your credit cards? He's like, yeah, I use my credit card. I'm like, what's your interest rates on your credit cards? Yeah, he's like in the teens. I was like, and you're stressed out about a 6.5% interest rate on your house? Are you crazy?
Yeah. Could you imagine if media sources started like stressing out over 13% interest rate on a Visa card?
Yeah.
Everybody would stop using them.
Oh, you know? My God. I tell you what, man, this market has been amazing for us. These last 3 going on 4 years now, right? It's just been amazing for us. It's sort of cleared out the clutter. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, this happened and that. It just kind of cleared out the clutter for me, man. I've been doing so well with communicating with folks virtually now.
Yeah.
That I'm closer to a lot of the people that I thought I was close with now than I ever were in the past. Was in the past.
It's really been interesting. Like you bring up the virtual sphere, you know, like I never would have done these lives. You know, like I remember, and I wrote about it in my book, you know, that it's Steve McCarthy, my sponsor. He and Kelly, I needed their help on a listing because my pictures sucked. So they went out and did a whole Matterport thing. And he was like, "You ready to go live?" I was like, "No,
what?
not Mr. Moreno. Heck no." You know? And he was like, "Oh, I remember when I thought people cared about it too, but click," and he just went live.
He just went
live with Matt Moreno at his new listing. And I was like, "Oh no, this guy just tanked my career," you know. And then I realized nobody cared, and
nobody cares.
I ended up getting like so many leads from that live because they watched it and they're like, "Dude, I didn't even know that house was on the market." And I was like, "All right, I think I'll give this little thing a shot." You know?
The last 48 hours, right? So in the last 2 days, I've been busy. So full disclosure, Matt, my mom is pretty sick. You know, we've been sort of back and forth to doctors and blah, 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 blah. You know that whole dance. I hope you don't know that dance, but you know, you can imagine.
Right.
And so I've been operating from my laptop in the car with a hotspot.
Yeah.
In the last 48 hours, I have shown, I'm going to say 3 properties in 4 states. No, I'm sorry. 4 properties in 3 states. There you go. That's the math on there, right?
Yeah.
California, Tennessee, and Georgia. I showed these properties virtually with agents that are local on my socials. I had over 800 views combined. Out of 800 views, I had 60 people inquire about properties in other places too. Like they weren't even just inquiring about those properties. And there are now 4 referrals off of those. It was 6. There were 6 people that genuinely inquired about properties, those specific properties, and 4 of them were qualified. So if all 4 of those turn into deals, and let's say, I don't know, I get maybe $5,000 off of those.
Yeah.
It's what, 5, 10, 15, 20 grand in 48 hours doing this.
Yeah.
It was 15. It was basically it accumulated. It was about maybe 45 minutes worth of video.
Right.
And we just went live, man. And we didn't go to the place. We just were looking at pictures. We were talking about the pictures together as agents. Yeah. And
pulled it up on the MLS and just
pulled it up on the MLS. Just pull it right up, you know. Yeah. And I even made an appointment with the listing agent.
Yeah.
To preview the property, and the listing agent was like, "You didn't go to the preview." I was like, "I did do the preview. I just did it digitally."
Yeah.
I wanted you to get credit if somebody buys it. I want you to get credit that I showed it, right?
Yeah.
It's just, Matt, man. It's not panicking. You know, these people are seeing the stuff in the news. These people are seeing the stuff. You know, it's mostly rumors. I would be remiss if I didn't say they're not even watching the news. They're watching Twitter as if it was the news.
Sure.
And hoping the person that's saying it is honest and trustworthy, you know.
Right. And educated. I get a lot of people that are like, "Yeah, I talked to my uncle the other day and he lost his house last time there was a bubble pop." And I'm just like, dude, this is not the same as that. You can't listen to people that aren't experts and expect to get expert information. Like I felt like a broken record the last week and a half because I'm just like, listen to me. I'm the expert. Listen to me. I'm the expert. I'm the one that studies all this stuff for a living. Like,
Matt,
why wouldn't you go to an expert? Like, you go to an expert mechanic to work on your car.
Whoa. What if your cousin was an expert mechanic? Every single time your car broke down, no matter where you were on the planet, you'd call your cousin first and be like, "Dude, this is happening. What should I look like? What should I look for? What should I expect from the mechanic that I use locally?"
Right.
That is, in essence, man, what we are, the inside track for your people, man. And I can't emphasize enough that on their best day,
Yeah.
the amateur investor, the amateur real estate professional, the amateur real estate agent on their best day have a fraction of the information that a brand spanking new, fresh out the box, unwrapped real
Yeah.
estate professional has.
Right.
And the real estate professionals need to understand that and not cut themselves short.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you come out the gate as a realtor more educated than the average bear, you know, and I wish that there was more accountability with that, you know. And
I'm a coach that so you know, I coach a bunch of agents as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm a coach that starts with the vision and the mission for the agent, and oddly enough, that's the toughest point.
It's getting them to realize
the vision and the mission, man. I lose probably about 30% of the agents that I coach with off of those first 3 weeks of coaching.
They just can't handle it.
They can't handle it. And I'm relentless with it. I'm like, no, let's go back. I know you want to do an open house, and I know you want to, like, you know, put on your fancy shoes and go out there and show it from your fancy car. I'm like, but why? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
You know, why are you connecting with these people this way? I'm like, if you want to go and produce off of luck, then by all means, keep going doing what you're doing.
Yeah, if you want to not be intentional, put on your suit and go to work.
Yeah, see ya. It's convincing the agent. Far too many of us have been indoctrinated into the world of employment.
Yeah.
So we're really good at being employees. We're really good at being the bright, shiny penny on the table and, you know, pencil sharpened and ready to go. When it's time to adapt and to apply that stuff to our own business, that's when we tend to fall apart.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You know, and that's one reason I wrote my book too, is to like help the new agent. What do you do in the first 90 days? Real estate, you know, like what did you do? So I wrote it all down and packaged it up for him. And
dude, that is a blessing, by the way, man.
What's that?
That is a blessing, man. So you know, one of the things that I say when I'm praying is I say thank you for the gift of work and the blessing of creativity.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've done both. You've taken your creativity and put the work in to create a product.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that I could tell an agent that would change their business, if they would listen, it would be to just follow a recipe.
That's it.
Just get a cookbook and follow a recipe. Matt, you've written a cookbook for the real estate agent, right? You just follow the just step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's not. And it took me a long time to realize that this business is just one step at a time, over time, doing the same things every single day, over and over and over until
the deals that I did this year.
Yeah.
The deals that I did this year, I generated the leads from my KV core. Right. So I am the Frankenstein monster, dude, man. I'll take pieces and put them together. This is the first time in my life, my head slapping moment where I'm just sort of like pushing the go button on like a out of the package, you know, CRM.
Right.
And I am incredibly impressed with them.
I love KV Core.
I use the playbooks, and like you said, every single day. So new realtors, listen, check this out. Don't tell anybody I told you. All right.
Keep it to ourselves.
Find yourself a demographic.
Yeah.
Right. Figure out what they're thinking about.
Right.
Their psychographics. And then deliver it to them where they are, their geographics.
Simple.
That's it. So I live in a highly concentrated rental market, right? So I'm in the Northeast. There's nothing but rentals around. There's condos around and 2, 3, 4, 5 families as investment. And so every single day, this is gold. I take the new multifamily properties that come out.
Yeah.
And deliver them to the list of landlords that I know.
Really?
Ask them if they just want to buy another investment property.
Perfect.
And every day that list grows and grows and grows. But I just right inside my KV core, I just take 2 or 3 of the brand new investment properties that come out, click the little button, text to hashtag. My hashtag is investor.
Mm-hmm.
It goes out to 150 investors every day, 5 days a week, every week.
Doing the work for you. No, I use KV Core like every single time I turn on my computer. I pull it up and just do something. I mean, generates your 10 calls to start your day. It does everything. It organizes everything.
Everything.
I have it set up, to have all of the texts that it auto generates. I've, written it all pretty much in my vernacular to the point where people like honestly think it's me. I had a customer that I had never met, and she was like, wow, nobody's kept in contact with me like this before. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, just trying to play it off, like totally, But it was our CRM just reaching out to her. Every time she'd communicate, it would communicate back, and
a little tit for tat.
Yeah, it was awesome, but it doesn't take very long to get all that stuff set up, and it's just so beneficial.
I realized that as a national player, right? As a national player, or even an international player, but I haven't done anything overseas yet. I had some overseas folks come this way. Okay. I haven't done anything overseas yet. But as a national player, I realized that I don't have to be absent in the referral anymore. Right. And so, I use the campus all the time. I meet folks inside the campus, inside the EXP world. I use my virtual spaces, my StreamYard, my Zoom. I use my own KV Core and my own website to preview properties and talk to agents. Talk to customers and clients. I realize now, man, if you looked at my KV Core right now, there are people. So I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New York, New Jersey. Right. If I shared my KV Core screen with you, you would see people from Wisconsin. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Yeah, pull it up.
Hold on one second. Let me see if I have a Chrome tab. There we go. I hope that's the right one. Yes, sir. It is. So there's people in here.
I gotta add it to the stream. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
This Steven Stelter guy, Stelter, is looking in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I won't do deals in Wisconsin. I will.
All right.
But he's in my KV Core as one of my contacts inside looking at Wisconsin. Mike is looking at Hoboken, and this guy Anthony is looking at Delray Beach, Florida. Right. And so the deals are happening, at different price ranges, $975 and then $1,850.
Yeah.
Right. $599. This guy right here, this is my buddy out in Chicago, Tony. That's the one I was talking about.
Right.
Looking at a property in North Bergen, New Jersey.
Right.
So this is all generated just from sending out messages to investors, to landlords, to my sphere of influence on a regular basis. And because I'm open to new experiences, I'm open to doing this thing virtually. Now it's like, oh, well, let me know if you want to see something somewhere, and I'll hook you up with an agent, and we'll walk through it together.
Yeah,
so I don't have to detach myself anymore from the referral. We know that most of the fall off in a referral happens at the handoff. Right. Hey, Matt, this guy wants to buy something, and then Matt gets on the phone with the guy, and the guy is like a dead fish to Matt. I could refer somebody and be like, hey, Matt is one of us, let's talk, blah, 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 blah. And we can have a whole conversation. And now the handoff is now warm and fuzzy and everybody's happy and deals ensue.
Right. Awesome.
We're having a good time, man. This was a challenging year. 2022 was a challenging year for me.
I agree.
I think it was a challenging year for everyone. I don't know what it was. I think it was the delayed response from the quarantine. It challenged my personal relationships. It challenged my professional relationships. it challenged my relationship with myself and the higher beings that
Right.
and like everything, my mom says, man, like everything, this too shall pass.
Mm.
And instead of dreading the challenges of the next day in 2022, what I did was I shifted my perspective and started looking forward to the challenges.
Right.
Right. And it man, it changed everything for me, man.
That's awesome.
Changed everything for me.
Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on with me today. This has been rad.
Matt, man, this is like family reunion for me, man. This is we could do this every day.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and let you go.
Well, can I make an offer to your people for you, Matt?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we've been doing a lot of different coaching, and we've got a lot of different platforms and stuff like that. Anytime anyone mentions your name, man, I'm going to give them family discounts. I'm going to hook them up. But I want to emphasize that I'm doing this team coaching that is just awesome, awesome, awesome. And if they come through you, Matt, man, I'm gonna make sure that they are singing your name around the campfire, man.
I appreciate that.
The Moreno name, man.
Heck
So
yeah.
I won't go into any specifics, bro. But I love you enough, man. I want you to know that your people are my people, man. So if they need me, they got me.
I appreciate it,
man. My pleasure.
Hey, stick around for a second.
No problem.